Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video features a complete IELTS speaking mock test based on real questions from India, reported in the fourth week of July 2025. These are actual questions shared by recent test takers, and we'll go through all three parts of the test. Part 1, the interview, Part 2, the cue card, and Part 3, the follow-up questions. This is an excellent opportunity to test your speaking skills and get familiar with the structure and flow of the real exam. Make sure to pause and practice your responses along the way. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon for more real exam updates and IELTS tips. All right, without any delay, let's jump into the real IELTS speaking questions that were recently asked in India. Let's start with the first part of the test, which is introduction part. Good morning, my name is Mr. Manoj, and I'll be your examiner today for this IELTS speaking test. The date today is July 25th, 2025. The test center number is in 1023, and the candidate number is 009875. Okay, in part 1, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself and your daily life. Let's begin with the first question of the test. Can you tell me your full name, please?
Well, my full name is Annika Priya. You can call me Annika.
Okay, the second question is, are you working or studying?
At the moment, I'm studying full-time at university, pursuing a degree in hotel and tourism management. I chose this course because I'm passionate about hospitality, and I believe it will open up great career opportunities for me in the future.
Okay, the third question is, why did you choose this field of work, study?
As I mentioned earlier, I decided to study hospitality because I'm really passionate about customer service and travel. I've always admired how well-run hotels create memorable experiences, and I want to be part of that world. Plus, this field offers a lot of international opportunities, which is really exciting to me.
Good. The next question is, do you enjoy cooking?
Yes, I enjoy cooking, mostly because it allows me to eat healthier and save money. I usually prepare simple meals during the week, but I like to try something a bit special on weekends when I have more time.
Okay, the next question is, how often do you cook?
I usually cook almost every day, especially dinner. It has become part of my routine, and I actually enjoy preparing meals after work. It helps me relax and also gives me control over what I eat.
Okay, what kind of food do you like to prepare?
Well, I usually like to prepare simple and traditional meals, especially rice and curry, which is very common in my culture. It's something I grew up eating, so I feel confident cooking it. Sometimes when I have more time, I enjoy trying out new recipes like pasta or stir-fried dishes, just to experiment with different flavors.
Okay, let's move to the next question in the first part. How do you usually communicate with your friends?
These days, I mostly communicate with my friends through messaging apps like WhatsApp or social media platforms. It's quick, convenient, and allows us to stay in touch even if we're busy. Occasionally, we also make voice or video calls, especially when we haven't spoken in a while. And of course, whenever we get the chance, we try to meet in person.
Do you prefer phone calls or text messages?
Well, it depends on the situation, but generally I prefer text messages. They're quick, easy, and I can reply whenever I have time. However, if something is urgent or more personal, I think a phone call is better. It feels more direct and helps avoid any misunderstanding.
Okay, the last question is, have your communication habits changed over time?
Yes, definitely. My communication habits have changed a lot over the years. In the past, I used to make phone calls more often or even meet friends face-to-face. But nowadays, I mostly rely on messaging apps and social media because they're faster and more convenient. I think technology has completely transformed the way we stay in touch.
Thank you. That is the end of part 1. Now I'm going to give you a topic to talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. You will have 1 minute to prepare. Your 1 minute starts now. Describe an interesting conversation you had with someone. You should say who you spoke with, where and when it happened, what the conversation was about, and explain why you remember this conversation so clearly.
I would like to talk about one of the most interesting conversations I have ever had. It was with a close friend of mine about 6 months ago. We met at a quiet cafe near my workplace during our lunch break. At first, the conversation was quite casual as we were just catching up on what had been happening in our lives. However, it soon became much deeper and more meaningful. We started talking about our personal goals and career ambitions, Both of us shared the challenges and uncertainties we were facing at that time. It was a very honest and open discussion where we exchanged advice and encouraged each other to stay motivated despite the difficulties. My friend's insights gave me a fresh perspective on my own situation and helped me feel more hopeful. What made this conversation stand out was the emotional support and genuine connection between us. It wasn't just everyday small talk. It was a sincere exchange that helped both of us reflect on what really matters and consider the best path forward. I remember feeling a great sense of relief and encouragement by the end of our talk. I remember this conversation so clearly because it happened when I was feeling quite uncertain about my career. Talking openly with someone I trust helped me gain clarity and renewed confidence. It reminded me how important it is to have a strong support system and to be honest about my feelings. Overall, this conversation was not only interesting, but also a turning point that motivated me to pursue my goals with more determination.
Thank you. That is the end of part 2. Now, I'd like to ask you some further questions related to this topic, which is discussion part. Let's move to the first question in discussion part 3. What do young people usually talk about when they're together?
Well, I'd say that young people tend to talk about a wide range of topics, depending on their interests and age group. Most commonly, they chat about social media trends, music, movies, or TV shows they're into. Many also discuss school or university life, relationships, or future goals. Nowadays, it's not unusual to hear conversations about mental health or career plans too, as these issues are becoming more important for younger generations. Overall, their conversations are usually casual, spontaneous, and often centered around things that matter in their daily lives.
The second question is, how have conversations changed between generations?
In my opinion, conversations have changed a lot across generations due to technology and lifestyle shifts. Older generations preferred face-to-face talks about family or community, while younger people often communicate through texting or social media. Today's conversations are quicker but sometimes less personal, and young people are more open to topics like mental health and social issues, which were once considered private.
The third question is, what are the benefits of studying abroad?
Studying abroad has many benefits, both academic and personal. It allows students to experience a different education system and improve their critical thinking. Living in a new country also builds independence and adaptability. Plus, students gain international friendships and career connections while becoming more culturally aware and open-minded.
The next question is, are there any drawbacks to studying in another country?
I believe there are a few challenges when studying abroad. Students might struggle with homesickness or adapting to a new culture. It can also be financially demanding and sometimes hard to make new friends at first. Still, most people learn to cope and grow stronger through the experience.
Okay, let's move to the second last question in this exam. How does communication differ in professional and personal settings?
I believe communication in professional and personal settings differs mainly in tone, purpose, and formality. In professional settings, people tend to be more polite, structured, and goal-oriented, often using formal language to maintain respect and clarity. On the other hand, personal communication is usually more relaxed, emotional, and spontaneous, as it focuses on building relationships rather than achieving specific tasks.
The last question is, do you think people today are better communicators than in the past?
I think people today are better communicators in some ways because of technology, which makes it easier to stay connected anytime and anywhere. However, this can also lead to less face-to-face interaction and sometimes weaker communication skills, like reading emotions or having deep conversations. So while communication is more convenient now, it's not always better in quality.
Thank you. That is the end of the speaking test. Have a nice day.